Serious, what's a scary science fact that the public knows nothing about? If your dog swims in a lake after receiving a spot-on flea treatment, it absolutely decimates the invertebrate population. A large dog swimming in 8 Olympic swimming pools worth of water soon after treatment will leach enough neurotoxin to kill 50 of the lake's invertebrate population within 48 hours. I say after, I mean relatively soon after, within say a day, to have an effect quite this devastating. The leaching does reduce over the month, but it's still there, and the effect of multiple dogs still allows for a terrible buildup of chemicals. I only recently learned that when you get sunburned, the burn isn't because of skin cell damage. The UV radiation damages the DNA. Then the skin cells decide to commit suicide and fall off so that the damaged DNA doesn't produce cancer. You'll never be mad at my skin peeling again.
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment. But please like and subscribe.
There are alternative ways some proteins can form tertiary structures. These different structures make the protein unable to function. These alternate protein structures are infectious and incurable as they are so stable. If you get some in your blood, they will slowly convert your own proteins when making contact. They're called prions. Heart muscle cells don't reproduce much in adults, roughly 1 per year. If you have an infarction or other stressor that kills those cells, then your heart won't be able to grow new cells to replace the dead ones. This is why patients with diseases like heart failure end up needing a heart transplant. Trying to get this process to happen is a major goal for many cardiac researchers. Thank you all for making this such an engaging and interesting discussion. I've been studying heart cells for 10 years now, basic scientist, no clinical training, and it's so refreshing to read many diverse perspectives and on-point questions. During war, the Japanese would continuously experiment on the people they captured, like open a pregnant woman's stomach and see the baby, infect her with syphilis and see the effects, etc., while the Nazis also did commit genocide and all that. Japan was never confronted about those war crimes. Limbic eruptions. There are pockets of coal trapped under lakes all around the world that can be released at any time, creating an invisible tidal wave that kills everything in its path. Since it's heavier than air, you will just suddenly start choking and die. Update. By popular demand, the WHO research paper on requirements for safe drinking water AMP, formaldehyde in drinking water. A lot of people in rural towns with an elevated cemetery around this happens in Ireland. A lot there is formaldehyde leaking into the drinking water. But it won't kill you, but the thought of drinking dead people juice is probably equally bad. Sorry, not sorry. Update. I have a link to the scientific research paper from WHO concerning the requirements for safe drinking water, and it covers the entire formaldehyde in drinking water issue, if anyone is interested. I read it and I can confirm it's true, but not detrimental to your health, even long term. The plague is still out there. The bubonic plague is endemic in many parts of the world, but cases are very rare because we've got it pretty well handled. If there's a general breakdown in society like a nuclear war, supervolcano eruption, or asteroid impact, it's out there waiting to come back. DuPont knowingly infected over 90 of the American population with PFOS, a harmful plastic that has a half-life of 20 years. Lawsuit is still ongoing, but no one seems to be bothered. This link will talk about the different trials and settlements that DuPont and companies alike have faced. Also talks about what a PFOA and its dangerous effects. Probably the most common one that will affect the general healthy individual is that it can fuck with some contraceptive pills. Ain't got no time for no grapefruit baby. There seems to be a few worried people, so just for clarification, it's probably not going to actually get you pregnant. It may really ramp up those pesky side effects due to its interacts with estrogen production, though, so still worth considering.
Hey guys, do you ever have a problem getting to sleep at night? Well, I've got the magic pill to cure your insomnia. Much like you, I used to twist and turn all night. But then I discovered that you can take melatonin and Valerian Root together to get a good night's sleep every single night. I've been taking it every night by for years and years. I've been taking Valerian and melatonin, and this is my life hack to get a good night's sleep and vivid dreams every night. So be sure to click my affiliate links, and I will give you the gift of a good night's sleep.
Another Carrington event. The original Carrington event was in 1859, which was basically an intense geomagnetic storm that knocked out telegrams, because that's all the technology there was to disrupt back then. Nowadays we use electricity for virtually everything. If it hit now, the effect would be like an EMP, but globally. There'd be no functional technology that involved electrics. In essence, losing all electrics would in turn stop communications, then logistics, and then fundamental infrastructure like food distribution, healthcare, and utilities other than electricity. The vacuum decay death of the universe. The basic LA premise is that it is possible that at some point in the universe itself started collapsing into a more stable version of itself, and once this started, the collapse spreads outwards into all directions at the speed of light. Because it travels at the speed of light, there is no way to know it's coming. You could literally stop existing the next second. I live in the Philippines, a country who suffered terribly under Japanese occupation. Aside from the war being taught through primary to high schools, almost every other family has grandparents who can vividly recall the brutality of the Japanese occupation. From hiding your babies in forests to trunks to dug up holes because the babies get stabbed once heard crying, to rapes and comfort women, every other family would have a Japanese blood in them, and we know this is the reason. To bombings and mass shootings, some elders would tell these tales on how they hid from this, to psychological traumas we still see until today. Even with some of my older relatives, the PTSD still exhibits. The trauma runs deep. It's never forgotten here in the Philippines. I lost my husband of 12 years. We were best friends for 20 years to a sudden brain aneurysm. Last words to me were, "Hun, I feel dizzy," and bam. On the floor, dead. I did CPR for 20 minutes waiting for help to come. Just said it was instant. It sucked for me because it was so sudden, but I take solace in the fact he felt no pain. He hated hospitals and never spent a night in one in his 62 years of life. Most ironic thing was, and I live in Mexico, is that it was on the Day of the Dead. Hard for me at the time, but man, if I got to have a choice of what day to go, it would be something like that. We had a weird sense of humor, Rip Al. Wow. Thanks for the upvotes, awards, and kind words. I cannot thank you all enough. Extra to the questions, this happened 8 years ago. It was very hard at first, lost a lot of weight. I do not recommend the grief diet, but I knew he wanted me to live life to the fullest, just as he had done. This incident taught me to find humor in life, never take things too seriously, and live to the fullest. You never know when it's your time. Nutrition deficiencies such as iron, vitamin C have many symptoms that were uncovered in an experiment in residential school. They would have a class of indigenous children that would never get iron from foods or any intake. Another class would get the iron supplements, then compare the results. Inside the permafrost around the world, there is stored about twice the amount of coal we currently have in our atmosphere. That's why permafrost must stop melting. Thanks for all the nice, serious comments. Thanks for the awards. I appreciate it. My great-grandmother died of a brain aneurysm one night, watching her favorite television show, eating cake. I always say that's exactly how I want to go. Was probably horrific for my great-grandfather sitting next to her though. Edit to add, anyone who lost a loved one suddenly, or had a loved one become suddenly disabled due to a brain aneurysm, I truly am sorry. My great-grandmother died after a full life, suddenly, with no pain. Brain aneurysms vary wildly in how they affect people. After having loved ones die due to Alzheimer's, cancer, and vehicular manslaughter, I stand by wanting to die like my great-grandmother did. The German Nazi army consumed massive amounts of Pervitin, a brand name for literal meth, and the company producing Pervitin made the pills till the October 1st, 2024, and the armies used Pervitin for drills till then. The Nazis also put Pervitin in chocolates, calling it Hausfrauen Schokolade to ease the dreaded life of a stay-at-home mother, and so on. Eastern Germany still has a huge meth problem, which is a whole lot less suppressing, knowing that it has been produced there legally up until fairly recently. Worked a high school volleyball game as a medic not too long ago. One of the girls made a great jump, then smashed the ball. Think she scored too, but I'm not familiar with the rules. She then comes walking over to me and said she felt a pop in the back of her head. I gave her a full workup, didn't find anything, but said it was probably best to take her for a checkup, just in case. We chatted on the ride about her college plans and her game. I found out 4 days later she had been declared brain dead. The pop was an aneurysm. This call really got under my skin. Also, our fruits and veggies are soaking up microplastics through their roots. Brain damage and behavioral disorders in fish induced by plastic nanoparticles delivered through the food chain. Mouse study shows microplastics infiltrate blood-brain barrier. Immunology, a dive into plastic toxicity and our immune system.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out. But there is an amazing kind of earplug called Mack Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Max earplugs today.
At any given time, the Earth can be hit with a gamma-ray burst. We won't see it coming since it moves at the speed of light, and all life apart from deep underground or deep in the ocean will be wiped out in minutes. Although unlikely it can happen at any time. There was a person who made a post one time that got hugely popular. This person was a chemical worker of some kind and went into detail about some of the nearly totally unknown, but instantly terrifying chemicals that exist. They ranged from terrifying to damn near apocalyptic. It was a super interesting read. I wouldn't know how to find it now, but maybe someone else would be able to. That post would really fit here. I checked on the links provided directly to me and I don't think it's any of them, but I have found some great reading. I don't think it was a direct post, but a reply to a post. It blew up and got hugely popular though. The guy listed a bunch of stuff in order of seriousness and what to do expect in case of spill or containment leak. I recall his most serious one being more or less, by the time you realize it's happened, you and everyone in the building around you are screwed. There's one that just stops you being able to sleep. It has 2 forms, fatal familial insomnia where the prion is inherited and sporadic fatal insomnia where the prion is not inherited. You start off having difficulty sleeping, which causes mental health issues such as panic attacks and paranoia. Then you start getting hallucinations, then you completely lose the ability to sleep, then finally dementia, insanity and death. It's universally fatal and usually kills you within about 18 months, sometimes as fast as 7. I learned about ton 618 the other day. My facts here may be mildly incorrect, feel free to Google. It's a black hole about 10.3 billion light years away, but we can still detect the massive amount of light bending around it. It's so large, they had to make a new category of black hole for it called ultramassive black holes. It's believed to be the largest thing in the universe. Its diameter is 14 times the diameter of Neptune's orbit. So it could fit our entire solar system in it 14 times across, side to side. If the black hole replaced our sun, we would be deleted. If it replaced the black hole that is currently at the center of the Milky Way, within 120 years the Milky Way would be deleted. This black hole does swallow planets. It swallows entire galaxies. The idea of this thing freaks me the fuck out. Well, I went for a nap and this blew tfup. Most upvoted comment of all time. Let's go. So yeah, I was mistaken a few times here. Like if the black hole replaced ours, it would take 120 years to destroy us, not the entire galaxy. The black hole is larger than I originally said, and true black holes don't technically give off light, but they are pretty much surrounded by light. I typed this out from memory and sadly my memory is pure garbage, but still am glad this encouraged you folks to look more into it and stuff. Space is cool and terrifying, huh? I never knew this was why, but I remember working in a vet clinic at the front desk and they told us to always tell people not to let their dogs go for a swim in any body of water for at least a week after getting a free treatment. I always assumed it was the medicine would just wash off.
Do you have any idea how convenient it is to use a Keurig machine for brewing coffee or tea? Personally, I gave up coffee a long time ago, but I was able to get a great, delicious cup of coffee in just seconds with no cleanup, no extra work using a Keurig machine and a K-cup. And now I use my Keurig machine to brew tea, loose leaf tea, every day that I drink. And I also use it to make oatmeal and, anything else that you can put hot water into. So if you don't have a Keurig machine in your house, you're missing out. Try my affiliate link below in the description of the video, and you too can enjoy a great cup of coffee in seconds any time of day.